Thanks for staying with us. So the last caller said something I'd like to hop on a bit, because we're talking about this, some crimes like this. After a while, the man will just get back on the streets. And I think Nima had alluded to this some time back when we were discussing something similar, where you either get a pardon or there's a jailbreak and something. People like this get rescued and they're back on the streets. You know, and we juxtapose that with where we've condemned jungle justice. Don't do this, don't do that. But there's some cases you see, you feel like you really want justice to really come down quick. You know, they tell you to be patient. They tell you to let the law take its course, let the rule of law go. And you're thinking there are some crimes that just cannot wait for this rule of law. Because I remember where it was the President Buhari that was saying that, he misses when there was a military government, that he didn't need to go through all this due process. He was able to make an executive order and something happens. In this kind of situation, where we are as a society, many of us have watched true crimes. We've seen crimes abroad in the 60s, in the 50s, you know. So we've had crimes like these. And we've seen how these cases were handled. In some cases, they were doing the hanging. In some cases, they did the electrification, the chairs. You know, there's some really gruesome death sentences that had in the past. But in our own country today, where we are trying to do things the right way. So my question to you, Nima, in this regard, do you think we should begin to consider other ways to expedite these kinds of cases such that people can see justice, and should be something as grievous as a death sentence or even a public hanging, something, because until you see these kinds of things, people would not deter from this kind of crimes.
Okay, so there's always been crime in our society, but you see, recently it's been worse because there are no pictures, videos to deter. And when I was growing up, then once they show anything on the national news, then at 9, my father would say, if you see that,
come and see.
Picking when the year was, see them, all those children that their parents tried to train, they refused to train, see them, see the outcome, they went into crime. So everybody just knew. In fact, I remember there's certain invitation you give me, as I am now. When I was much younger, if you give me a bottle of drink and you have opened it, I won't drink it. Yeah. If I get up from there, because my mom had said they will spike it and rape you. And she had shown me one of the cases on TV. And so if you are a male friend, or if you like, let you be my best friend, I cannot share a drink with you. Once it's open, I'm done drinking it. You know, so we had those examples. But today, you don't see any outcome of any crime. You see the crime. You see the people living largesse from crime. Yeah. You heard the caller now. We have accepted Yahoo. So if it was it's an accepted crime. Everybody just says, I'm doing Yahoo. You have unexplainable wealth. I have a neighbor now who have not been around for a while. If I ask the mom, what does he do? He comes back looking well fed with is it a secret what he does? Do you understand? So that's how we know growing up. Unexplained wealth, unexplained largesse happening. We blame people for questioning. Yep. Yeah. Whereas knowing...
It's called jealousy now.
Yes, it's jealousy now. Knowing was what made society function. There were crimes then. There were outcomes and consequences of crimes that we were seeing. You know, people are just enjoying it. Even in the movies, they will promote a crime. Yoruba people are hearing now. They will carry gun for the 1 hour, 30 minutes of the movie. Then 10 minutes, the person will just either run out or at the ending. You know, so people will celebrate it. That's what's popular. And that's what is now, you know, worsening the quest for self-help. If this boy gets to jail and then the governor refuses to sign, we elect another governor, refuse to sign. We elect another one, refuse to sign. He's just there waiting. Taxpayers' money that have even increased now. It's 1,250 per day. They are feeding them with taxpayers' money. The person is living large there. Whether they feed him 1 meal a day, he will do well. And so he's just enjoying at our expense. There are no consequence. Then if he gets there, he reforms. Because they now call it the reformation.
Because where Nima, society needs to understand, because where we are as a people, to fix some of these things, there's some drastic measures
that has to be taken. There. So the justice system itself has to be very fast. You see this case that we took of the Islamic cleric, must have been in court forever. You know, and so justice delayed is sometimes denied.
I know,
the victim would have grown, and everybody. Let it be as fresh as the evidences are. See that Uyo one now, till now, we know yet nothing. Not even, and it's the cause of first instance, is in the High Court that the matter has been filed. We've not yet known it.
There was one the case was fast that we did, that was in Lagos. I think it was a sexual violence, a case that came quickly, that were really, that we celebrated, that was fast. I can't remember what it was.
The lady, the victim that was wearing puda, but in Lagos.
So we need those, it's those kind of quick justices that Nigerians need to see repeatedly.
That was filed in a special court. Lagos has a sexual and domestic violence special court, which was...
Let me take Alaji Musa, he's been holding for a minute. Come on, Alaji.
Good morning, Our Lady of the Views. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Akashat. Good morning. This topic, very unfortunate situation. Very unfortunate situation. And secondly, anybody, like nobody is perfect in this, but is God Almighty the only perfect being. But if we are bringing up our girls, like maybe our daughter, we have to try and do extra work on them in the reference of this kind of the kind of relationship our daughter is going to, because during our own time it's not like this. During our own time, the relationship for your daughter to even go into a relationship before you even get a suit is very scary. Like that. They're supposed to have certain communication like that they're supposed to be having, like even with their mother, anything that they see in terms of that, they should be able to relate. Oh, this brother toast me, or this brother, all those things before they can even go ahead with the kind of relationship. That is the problem.
Thank you very much, Elijah.
You don't know who is who.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amaka. Finish, sorry. So the system has to, the trial and justice has to come quickly. But at the end of it, it is a death sentence. Let him exhaust his 90 days, all his appeals. If he wants to go to the Supreme Court, or as soon as he's exhausting it, make public the execution.
Exactly.
Because after Supreme Court, except another court day, make public that execution. It gives closure to family. Also encourage society to see outcomes.
Yes.
There's not been outcome, and so we cannot deter offenses. Also, when we're talking about red flags, all that came to my mind was our parents' idea of never go visit a man, let them visit you. That's the only thing. I remember that the only way you can escape this is if it's in your house, they visit you, they leave you in your house and go. But the moment, this girl did everything by the book. If they say find a religious person, she don't date them. If they say get patient, she don't date them. If
they say don't follow riches.
Don't follow riches, she don't date them.
Obviously.
Yet, now that she meets. So I think the safest thing is to just if you are interested in me, meet me in my house.
But in you're in Abuja, my family is in Nasarawa. I'm serving in Abuja. And you're a copper. It's so painful because, when the last caller was saying that we should be talking about girls, we want leading girls. See, girls, we just want to fall in love. You meet somebody and you couple, you just, those days, you meet a guy anywhere, come in at the store. But here now, they're telling us you're not sure who the guy is. It's so difficult for young girls today just to meet somebody and just trust.
Yes, and first of all, we've lost our values as a society. And I used to say that this thing a lot, like the girl child is being trained, but who is training the boy child? I reiterate that all the time. And let me answer the last caller where he said they're still putting the onus on the girl child. And the girls are trying. Like what Nima said, this girl has gone to church. She has met somebody that is a gospel singer that supposedly knows God, that's on social media preaching motivational things that you feel like, this person has the right head on the shoulder. And, another thing, too, that we do in Nigeria, our value system in terms of respect for elders. You understand? It plays a role in terms of so many things. I always tell people, it's good to listen to your elders. It's good to come back, like what the man said, gist your parents and everything. Everybody can have an opinion, and everybody does have an opinion. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you need to decide what is good for you. Because let me take it back to that issue I was saying. When I was telling my auntie, there was another lady that was there with her, an elder lady, and she said, maybe you're stubborn, maybe you should have been more patient. Maybe you just met for the first time and he was just joking. But this same guy, and I said, no. And this same guy married, was beating up his wife, and he's divorced today. So even though it's good to listen to your elders and then our value system and say, you come back home and say, I met this guy, I went there, and then they now tell you patience, or maybe that thing that your mind is telling you, please follow your mind.
I think we're told that we'll be linking very quickly to see the Army Remembrance Day parade, just so Nigerians can see what's going on. Then we'll come back to our conversation. So there it is, Army Remembrance Day parade. And I believe okay. Just to see what's happening. We're coming back to the studio. Yeah. So, Mariam, we're going to say something. We're going to talk about, now, as we're going to be wrapping up very soon on this conversation, because as we're talking about the girl and how to ensure young ladies are, they are more cautious in dating, because when we were growing up, it was just very cute to have somebody just send you a note, or somebody just, you meet somebody somewhere and you just go out to dinner, you know, very, very impromptu stuff that you see in the movies that you like to experience. But now, there's a lot of fear. You can't even trust who you're seeing on social media. Some people, you meet somebody online and you're hoping that it's a good person. And unfortunately, the person ends up taking your life. So how do we help young people in these times to be able to be more discerning? And I like what you said earlier, where talk about it. Let people know, because you might not see it because you're beclouded by maybe love or affection. But others can know, okay, why is he asking me to come at night? What's going on? What's this about? They can help you to see things differently. So talk about it is one thing. What else can we advise young people to get?
When you go out, please keep someone informed about your whereabouts. You know, the way the world is today, a lot of us, you finish university, you go off into the world, and you are taking care of yourself. You know, when you pick up a call, maybe you call your parents once a month or something. Some people are bad like that. You know, just have a community where people are able to know where you're going, who you're with. Because we have this tendency of saying, I'm an adult, I don't need anyone to police me. It's not about policing, it's just because of the world that we're in. Then we have to also think about, I want to talk to the men now. There's this conversation I've been hearing a lot lately, and I think this is abroad, where women talk about how the sort of things that they go through with bad men, not all men, men who don't have the right, you know, insane people, wicked people, you know, and the sort of things that they come in contact with, how men behave towards them, especially on the streets when they're alone, when they're in vulnerable situations. And some men, their response will be, not all men are the same. Or you make it like a back and forth war with women. Women, why did you do this? Why did you do that? There's a conversation I'm hearing where men are saying, see, we're your allies. We are men. We know that there are some things that men do to women because they know that women are more vulnerable, because they are not strong. And so there are steps that I take as a man, like when I'm walking behind a woman, usually a woman is afraid. If she turns and she sees a big burly man walking behind her, she's feeling concerned. Am I going to be attacked? Some of them say they take the step either to wait a bit so that she feels safer. So all I'm saying is that with this, we need men to be our allies, be our eyes, protect us, watch out for us. Some things we cannot do because we don't have the physical strength.
I have to pause you a second because the Armed Forces Remembrance Day is still ongoing, and the president here is observing. Oh, it's deputy governor actually of Lagos State. I thought it was
Lagos State.
Okay, I thought it was actually the federal government, but actually it's Lagos State. Yes, that's the deputy governor there at the Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, and he's there at the parade. So that's for the Army Remembrance Day. Coming back to the studio. Yes, you were saying, Mariam,
Yes.
sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, so I'm asking for men to be our allies, be your brother's keeper, in this case, be your sister's keeper. You know that there's a young man that she's interested in, you know a little bit more about how he behaves when she's not there, and this person can be dangerous to her. Please speak up. You know, tell her friends, this is not someone I would advise my sister to be with. This is the sort of person he is. Because sometimes men in this brotherhood stuff, they see things and they just let it pass, and people get in trouble. So that's what,
We
please
have
be
to
our
wrap up
allies.
now. Nima, your final words on
It's a
this.
sad one, very sad case. My heart is with the family of this girl. There's no justification for, you know, this kind of killing in any way. Not to even talk about this particular girl who, as far as I'm concerned, did well by the books. She's just a victim, and there are several other victims. I think my little advice is now we should be 10 times careful. Please, parents, if your child has to go for service, provide whatever it is they need so that they don't need anything from any perpetrator disguising as anything, including friendship, so that they can just go to their service and back to their hostel and keep in touch with them. Parent your child. They say, my mom says, you don't stop parenting your child till you are no more. Even when your child is an adult in their family, you still give advice. So you parent your child. So parent your child, and I wish that she was really protected. I wish it was avoidable. Then, girls, please. Yes, it's a free world now. kindly, you know, be cautious, be more cautious, and whatever you see as suspicious, trust your instincts.
Yeah.
You didn't give me last word.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, my last one, yes, is that, you know, it's easy to say girls, that people get married 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and their spouses still kill them. So at the end of the day, how cautious can you be? At the end of the, so what we should do also as a country is to normalize seeking therapy, going to therapy, speaking out, because most times people internalize a lot, and then it comes off in different ways, maybe hitting, beating, meanness, wickedness, and stuff. So we need to start talking more as a people and visiting therapists.
All right, that's all we can take on this segment. Once again, our heart goes out to the family. I mean, this is not a way you want a child to die at all.
Oh,
I mean, see, it's the most heart-wrenching experience any family can actually go through. And really, what the government should do is ensure justice is served, meaning that that boy or that man must pay for what he did. And we must see that he's paying for what he did. And I think that's for us. We'll give some succor to the family. Let's go on a break now. We'll come back, we'll continue with the show. Stay with us, we'll be right back.